Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston. Today I'm back for episode number 50 of my Tampa Bay Rays Let's Play series here on Out of the Park Baseball 18. And today we are back in the World Series for the first time since 2021. We are back with a chance to climb the baseball mountain and achieve its highest point and try to become world champions for the first time in franchise history. So in the last episode, I tried to look at my playoff history a little bit. But I actually went back through it and manually just sort of wrote down the entire history, even dating back to before this save started. You see I have their 4 previous playoff appearances, but we've been in the playoffs 6 times, and I was mistaken. I thought we had been back to the World Series. For some reason, I thought we played the Dodgers twice, but we never did get a chance to avenge our loss in the 2019 World Series to them, which you can see right here. But we did lose to Atlanta in the 2021 World Series, and then it's just funny how many times we faced Houston. I kind of wanted to do this also just to see how many times we've played Houston. And let's see, we lost. Whoops, we beat them in 2019, lost to them in 2020, beat them in 2021, and then lost to them in 2024, and then have beat them the last 2 times. So I guess we're 4-2 against them matched up in the postseason. And I didn't even realize this, but the last 2 years we've beaten Minnesota in the wild card round. But we faced Houston in the wild card round twice, I think. So, kind of funny we keep running into the same teams, but I guess that tends to happen in professional baseball. So, let's take a look at this Cincinnati team that we're going to be going up against in the World Series. They were an 86-win wild card team this year. You can see right there, the second wild card team. They defeated Pittsburgh in the wild card round. And then the Braves, the 108-win Braves, a team that was 22 wins better than them, they defeated in the division series in 3 games. They swept them right out of the playoffs before sweeping the Chicago Cubs as well. So they haven't lost this postseason. Cincinnati hasn't. And how many straight games did they win at the end of the regular season? I'm curious. They had lost 3 in a row. So it's only an 8-game win streak, but still an 8-game win streak. And you see they were 6th in runs scored, 8th in runs against in the National League. But as I said, they have been hot as of late. 86-win team, 85-win, a Pythagorean run differential. This is their first appearance in the postseason since 2013. So their first time they've been back in the playoffs this entire save. You can see they've got a rash of injuries. Colton Ferris is going to be out this series. Let's see, Kevin McCarthy's day-to-day. Dansby Swanson is out for 4 more days. He's day-to-day, though, so he could be playing. And Dayton Tripp. It doesn't look like Swanson's in their lineup right now, though. This is their lineup. They've got some good bats. Nick Senzel, who had a really nice year for them this year. Tristan Casas, who had a really nice year as well, 35 home runs. And he's had a couple of good years now as a premier hitter in the National League. Jared Kelenic, who always seems to be a pretty solid corner outfield bat in this game. He's got solid numbers for them. Juan Soto, not as great, but was pretty good last year in 85 games. Joe Rizzo, who had a solid season. Jordan Adele, who was not that great. And Wyatt Cross, who had a pretty nice year as a catcher for them. So their lineup's decent, and they've got a couple good starters. Jeremy Billings, pretty nice, 25 years old. Second straight year, he's been pretty effective for them in the rotation. Nabel Chrismot, who's got a nice strikeout-to-walk ratio, kind of like Honeywell. The long ball is the problem for him. So that's kind of a good doppelganger for him is Brent Honeywell. Jim Collins, who doesn't have great ratings, but had a nice year this year with a 3.2 ERA and 2.9 WAR, only 6.4 strikeouts per 9. And then Danny Salazar, who is a star and a half, 36-year-old arm for the Cincinnati team. So their starting staff doesn't impress me too much. They got Tony Zitch out of the bullpen, who had a bad year this year, but has decent ratings. Borzing Meng, same thing for him. Decent ratings, but a bad year. Nick Hansen was decent. Brandon Maurer is still not bad in this game. So their bullpen doesn't really scare me too much either. Definitely not a great team, but they've been hot. You have to respect that. So, and for us, we finished off a 5-game series defeat of the Cleveland Indians in the championship series. So our rotation, I think we're going to be able to go, since Fido went the last game, I think Snell is going to be, oh, he's not ready. He's not going to be ready till game 2. And Fido's not going to be ready till game 3. So it's going to have to be Honeywell or Funkhauser. And Honeywell's not going to be ready, so it is going to have to be Funkhauser in game number 1. Because Cincinnati swept, we didn't actually really get any off days, extra off days, even though we defeated Cleveland pretty quickly. Just because Cincinnati was already ready to play us. So kind of unfortunate, but so it is going to have to be Funkhauser in game 1. Cincinnati, I don't know if they're going to have had the chance to, I guess they will, because they're going with Jeremy Billings, who is definitely their best starter in game 1. Yeah, this guy's a beast. He scares me a little bit, but the rest of their staff, it's really him, and then like kind of this part of their lineup, their 2, 3, 4, that I respect them most on their team, I would say. For us, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing. We're definitely going to get Grossvenner in there in a center field with Robles and right. That lineup has been working for us. And probably get Odor back in there. He had been playing pretty well since inserting him into the everyday lineup with Devers back at third base. Can move him up, can move Correa down to the 5-hole. And that is the lineup we will go with. Funkhauser on the mound didn't look too sharp in his only start so far this postseason. That came in the last series against the Indians in game number 2. But that was a game that we still came out on top in. And we are down 3-0 so far. Game 1 from the Trop underway. We get a pair back there in the 3rd. Funkhauser at 43 pitches so far. Gives those 2 runs right back. Probably shouldn't leave him in too much longer. I don't know. Did his spot is not. Or it is due up in the next half inning. So maybe we just get him to the 5th. And Funkhauser got hurt. Okay, that is not good. So don't really want to double switch for anyone here. So let's just go with someone who's going to get a couple outs like Carlos Gomez. And then warm up maybe Edwin Diaz after that. Or actually, warm up Andy Schrader. How about that? So Gomez is actually going to have to get 3 outs this inning. And he does do just that. Now we're going to pinch hit for him. They still have Billings in there. So we'll go with Ploman. And I have to sit Schrader down for a moment. Just have to go batter by batter, I guess. Monitor that closely. Odor strikes out swinging. Mendez hits one to left. That is going to be caught. 2 outs. We will get Schrader back up. Just that he doesn't get cold. And it is the pinch hitter Ploman set to face Billings. He flies one to center. That is going to be the 3rd. Nope, that gets down. Okay, thought that was going to be an out. It's a double. So a man in scoring position for Robles. Can we get a man home with 2 outs? That is a base hit. Oh, I'm sending him. Oh, he's coming around anyway. That is an RBI single. So we do get 1 back. 5-3 now is the score. Robles with the RBI single. Now Bauer's up next, 3-1 count. He takes ball 4. 2 men on for Coronel. He is set to hit first pitch, swinging, rips it into left field for a base hit. That's going to go for extra bases. 1 run scores. Another run is going to be waved around, and Bauers, he's coming home, and the game is tied. 5-5 is the score. A 2 RBI double from Wilfredo Coronel, who has been a little bit cold this postseason. You see the OPS south of 800. And only 1 home run, but a big knock right there. And he's in scoring position for Devers, facing the new pitcher in the game, Elvis Luciano. That does it for Billings, and Devers smashes one to deep center. It is tracked down by Adele, and that retires the side, but we do even up the game at 5. And we are going to turn the game over to Andy Schrader for 1, perhaps 2 innings here. I'm going to monitor him closely, though, because it is a tie game now. That is hit well to right, and that is going to be caught. Nice diving play by the right fielder, Victor Robles. Joe Rizzo standing in. He swings and grounds one to first base, out number 2. Now Jordan Adele up next. He's got a 3-0 count. He takes ball 4. Wyatt Cross up next. This one popped up. This should do it, and that is out number 3. So we head to the bottom half of the 6th. Schrader tosses a scoreless 6th. Probably not going to ask for more than 1 inning out of him tonight. We don't really need to, so I think I'll get Edwin Diaz up next, and maybe Freeland. I guess Diaz can give me the 7th, but I don't know if they have. No, they have righties due up next. So Correa grounds out to lead things off. Now Grossvenner, he hits one to the second baseman. That's going to be out number 2. Odor up next, 3-2 count. He hits one well to right field, but that is caught by the second baseman playing in the shift. So that's 3 up, 3 down for Tampa Bay. Schrader's spot did not come up in the lineup. I'm still going to go to Diaz here, even though Diaz is due up next inning. Brendan McKay pinch hitting to lead off the inning. It's Diaz, who has recorded 8 outs without giving up a run this postseason. That's going to be a leadoff knock for McKay. Nick Allen up next. He strikes out looking. 1 down for Nick Senzel. This is the dangerous part of the lineup for Cincinnati, but that is a 4-6-3 double play in Diaz with another scoreless inning there as he keeps the game tied at 5. Before we head to the bottom of the 7th, Cincinnati has a righty on the mound. So let's go with Don. Actually, well, wait. He's not even leading off. So Let's just get another reliever up. I'm going to get Riley Pint up. Next, he will be the next man in. Even though they do have a couple lefties due up, but I'm still going to go with Pint. Freeland looked a little bit shaky when I tried to throw him in the 8th inning at the end of the Cleveland series. So let's go with Donnelly now to pinch hit against the right-handed pitcher Nick Hansen. Donnelly striking out swinging. He's gone cold ever since he had a hot couple of first games in the division series and then has been pretty cold since then. Bauer strikes out swinging. That ends off the inning. We head to the 8th, still tied at 5. Pint is on for the Tampa Bay Rays here in the 8th, facing Tristan Castas to lead things off. A big power threat in Castas, but he grounds one softly back to the pitcher. And that is a ground out for out number 1. Kellenic with a line out right there. Nice catch by Correa for out number 2. Juan Soto is the next man up, and he strikes out swinging. 3 up, 3 down for Pint. He did it efficiently in 9 innings. Could potentially leave him back out there for the 9th inning if the game remains tied. If we take the lead, I'll probably go to DeYoung. But Cornell leading things off against the new pitcher Tony Zych. Cornell flying one to right. That is going to be caught for out number 1. Now the next man up is Devers. He hits one well into center field for a base hit. A 1-out knock for Rafael Devers. Now Correa is the next man up. 2-2 count. He hits one to the second. Oh, it goes through the shortstop. And that is going to be ruled a single. Looked like it could have been an error, though. Now I'm going to get DeYoung up. And people might be questioning, like, why are you only going to use DeYoung if you go up 1? Because if the game's tied, and I think it's going to be a bullpen game, you know, late into the, if it goes into extra innings, we've already burned a lot of our, burned Diaz, we burned Schrader. So if I haven't, and I've only gotten 1 inning out of those guys, if I want to get multiple innings out of someone, Pint might be the guy to do it since he only threw 9 pitches. But if we do have the 1-run lead, I'm just going to go right to DeYoung since he's our best guy. And the game, we have the chance to end the game right then and there. We don't have the chance to end the game if the game remains tied. So that is going to be a base on balls for Grosvenor. The game is, or the bases are loaded for Rug, Ned, Odor. The game is still tied. And what can Odor do with the infield in? They're probably going for a double play ball. That is through into right field for a base hit. Rays take the lead. And I'm going to send Correa just because I like being aggressive in this game, and he is safe. That one almost beat him, that throw. It seems like usually you want to just send him, even though, like, Kellenic has a great arm and Correa isn't that fast, and Correa was at third base, pretty much third base when Kellenic had the ball, but still, we just got in there in time. So now Mendez is up next. He's got a 3-2 count with men on first and second. He strikes out swinging. Now it's Pint's spot in the lineup, so I'm going to pinch hit for him, and we are going to go to DeYoung in the 9th. It is Ramirez here, or Rodriguez with a chance. He strikes out swinging. So that is the 3rd and final out. Tampa Bay does take the lead in the 8th. Now we're going to go to DeYoung for the 9th and see if he can close out the game, as he's got Joe Rizzo leading things off this inning. DeYoung, 2 earned runs and 7 innings of work so far this postseason. 4 hits, 8 Ks, 2 walks. Gets the ground out there for out number 1. Now Jordan Adele is up next. 1-2 count. He strikes out swinging. That one looked like it jammed him. 2 down for Wyatt Cross. 0-1 count. That ball lined and caught by the first baseman Cornell, and that does it. Tampa Bay wins game number 1. So a 1-0 series lead for Tampa Bay. We lost game 1 of the championship series, but then reeled off 4 in a row. And Funkhauser with a day-to-day injury, that could affect him potentially, as he would be slotted to go in game 5, but that might have to be bumped back. His ratings are starting to go down just a little bit. I imagine he comes back next year, though. He does have 1 more year of team control. Back spasms, moderate effect on his running, minimal on his hitting, and nothing on his throwing. So probably, I think I might, if I can, I might just go back to him in game 5, because I don't really want to have to throw someone on short rest. But before that, we've got game 2 coming up. And anyone good posted? No, there's never anyone good posted in this game. So, all right, game number 2. We have got Blake Snell ready to go, 100% rested on 4 days of rest, a full 4 days of rest, as he last pitched in Game 3 of the championship series, and wasn't as sharp in that game as he had been in his first 2 starts this postseason, but on level, the numbers still pretty good. And we're gonna keep playing Grosvenor, because why not? He's been hot offensively, and the lineup defensively is better as well. I've mentioned about 600 times in the last 2 episodes. Gonna put Odor back in there as well, because he's been hitting well. And even against the righty, I think I'm going to go to Cordell Dunn, because Mendez has continued to struggle with the bat. Let's just give Dunn a chance. And I'll keep the lineup like this. Because I want, even though it's just 3 straight lefties, I think Dunn is definitely the worst hitter of the two. Although he has 2 home runs and 10 at-bats this postseason, so who knows. Snell on the mound for game number 2. He is going to be opposed by the Cincinnati starter Nick Chrismat, who is that Brent Honeywell doppelganger that I mentioned earlier in the episode. So here we go. We certainly, I think, most games Snell pitches, we're going to have the advantage of the pitching matchup. And I think tonight we would have to have that, but it is only 2-1 so far through 4. Snell has been solid, but so has Chrismat. Snell, 5 hits allowed. How many pitches is he at? 79, so he's got at least 1 more, maybe 2 innings in him. A 4-run 6th for the Rays. That gives us a nice cushion, gives Snell a nice cushion. He should be able to give us at least 1 more inning. 2 men on, 89 pitches he's up to, and it is Lourdes Gurriel pinch hitting now, looks like, for them. So let's get Pint up and maybe Freeland, just in case. And then go batter by batter. There is 1 out. It is Gurriel striking out, swinging for out number 2. Now Nick Allen is the next man up. He's the leadoff man for this lineup. That's into right field for a base hit. Running coming around. He will score. So another run home for Cincinnati. It's 6-2. Lefty Kelenic up. This is going to be Snell's last batter no matter what. I'd like him to get through this inning, though. That ball hit to center. Should be playable for Grosvenor. And it is. That retires the side. Snell's night is done. 7 innings, only 1 earned run, it looks like. 1 of those runs was unearned. So a nice night out of him. The line looking pretty good. I'm going to go to Riley Pint for the 8th inning, and we are going to get a pinch hitter in. Looks like they're going with Maurer, so we're going to go with the lefty. Actually, we're going to go with Plowman no matter what because he's switch hitter. I forget if he's better against lefties or righties, but they've got the veteran Brendan Maurer on. Probably one of the few guys. There are still a handful of guys. I mean, you see guys who were in the majors when this save started. I mean, there aren't many in this World Series playing, but Maurer's one of them. Odor is one. Correa. Devers almost. There were some prospects. There's some prospects, that are close in real life, like Bowers, Robles, and Devers obviously is a big league player now, but still not a lot of original big league players left around. Plowman drives one to center field. That ball is back and over the head of the center fielder. It's a double for Plowman. We probably don't even have to use DeYoung in this game if we don't want to, but Pint or DeYoung, especially if we get more runs. So maybe we will let's get Edwin Diaz up, actually. This is a perfect spot for Edwin Diaz. Robles is up next. He is hitting with the infield in. That's a base knock into center field. 1 run will score. The other runner will hold at third, but Robles has an RBI single. Now first and third with no one out for Jake Bowers. He hits one in between the shortstop and the third baseman. That's into left field. Another run scores for Tampa Bay, 8-2. Cornell up next with 2 on and no one out. That ball hit into right field. That ball is going to be caught, though, by the right fielder. No runners will tag, so still first and second with 1 out for Correa. That ball is hit well to right field, and that is going to make it 11-2 Tampa Bay. A 406-foot opposite field blast, and this game has been blown open by this Rays offense. 11 runs across, 9 in the last 2 innings, 5 this inning, and this one looking all but over now. Let's just go half innings, see if we score even more. I don't think we did. Probably don't even have to use Diaz at this point, but I'm going to anyway. For 1 inning, he does give up 2 runs. 25 pitches, so maybe not ideal right there. We'll get Carlos Gomez up for the final inning. And I'm going to pinch hit with Coca, I guess. Actually, let's get Donnelly in at bat. Even if they have a lefty in there, they don't. No more runs there for us. Gomez on for the 9th. He allows a couple guys to reach to lead things off. See if he can settle in. That ball hit into left field. That's going to get down. So 1 run will score. It's now 11-5. And now we're going to have to think about getting DeYoung up. Still no one out of the inning. Casas is up next. That's ball 4. Bases are loaded now. The tying run is in the hole. That is the stage we've reached now with Nick Senzel at the dish. And that ball hit to center field. This is going to be out number 1, but it might get a run home. Runner is tagging. The throw goes to the cutoff man, so 11-6 is the score. Victor Ruiz up with 1 down. 1-2 count. He strikes out swinging. 2 down for Jordan Adele. 3-2 count. base on ball. So now I think I'm going to maybe go to my closer. Yeah, Gomez is tired. We only need like 1 out of DeYoung. So should be good to go here. 1-2 count to Wyatt Cross. As yes, we have to see DeYoung's numbers once again. He strikes out looking, and the game is over. Tampa Bay takes game 2. We have a 2-0 series lead. I don't think we had a 2-0 series lead in either of the previous World Series we played in. I know the Atlanta one, we were pretty much down from the get-go because we trailed 3-1 at one point before losing in 6. And the Los Angeles series, we lost the first 2 games and then won the next 3, I think. So game 3, we're going to have Faedo back on the mound. Our game 1 started the last 2 series, although that was only because Snell wasn't fully rested in either of those. But he's been pretty effective in the postseason so far and pitched well in the 1 start he made against Cincinnati earlier this year. So let's go back to the normal lineup changes. Grosvenor back in there. And whoops. And we'll get Odora in there as he's continued to swing the bat well. Actually, he's struggling now the last couple days, but still I think probably a better option than Donnelly at this point. Devers at 3rd, hitting 4th. And do we stick with Cordell Dunn is the question. His numbers, yeah, I think we do stick with him. He continued to hit well in the last game, 1 for 3 with a walk. So we'll take that out of him. And I'm going to hit him 7th because Odora's been struggling now. So we can be a little bit more righty-lefty. With Faedo on the mound. And let's get it going. They're going to be throwing Jim Collins as the series shifts back to Cincinnati. The first time that it doesn't matter that we're in National Park because we're not using the DH anyway. 2-2 game through 2. A 3-run third for Tampa Bay, though. Makes it 5-2. As we've got Faedo, a little bit of a lead to work with. 37 pitches for him so far, as he has settled in a little bit since that first inning. Still just 2 runs across for Cincinnati. Faedo's only at 63 pitches. And he is continuing to pitch effectively now into the 7th. And 1 run comes across for Cincinnati. Looks like a solo home run from Wyatt Cross, perhaps. Lourdes Gurriel pinch hitting now with a 1-0 count. That ball hit up the middle. That's a base hit. And I got to say, this ballpark looks really nice. Great American. It's great. It's yeah, it is Great American. Looks really nice in this game. We got to get someone up because Faedo's hitting a bit of a rough patch right here. Like to get him through this inning, though, if possible. 2-2 count. He strikes out. So Allen goes down for the 3rd and final out. Faedo, 7 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits. Only 5 strikeouts, the 2 walks. So not, it wasn't his sharpest night, certainly, but effective nonetheless. Let's go batter by batter this inning. See if the pitcher spot comes up in the lineup. If so, we'll have to pinch hit. Nick Hansen is on. That ball hit deep to left center field, but it is going to stay in the yard. Grosvenor just missing a home run there. Now Cordell Dunn. Slow nibbler. That's going to be out number 2. Let's get Pines back up. Odor now, the last chance this inning with 2 outs. He strikes out swinging. So we head to the bottom half of the 8th, still up by a pair, as it's Pint on to face the 2-3-4 men in this Cincinnati lineup. As Pint has been an effective setup man in the regular season and the postseason so far, 9 Ks in 5 innings, but he allows the leadoff man Senzel to reach. That brings up Casas in the form of the tying run. He's got a lot of power, but he strikes out looking there. Now 1 down for Kellenic, 0-2 count. He strikes out swinging, 2 down for Juan Soto, 1-2 count. This ball hit to center field. This should be playable for Grosvenor, and it is. Out number 3. That will send us to the 9th. Up by a pair is Tampa Bay. And they've got the closer, Dan DeYoung, looming. DeYoung now 6 scoreless innings this postseason and 11 strikeouts in those 6 innings. So he has been very, very effective. We're going to go with Ploman to lead things off as the pinch hitter in our half of the 9th. And I don't think we got anything going there, as it is still 5-3. 6, 7, 8 due up for the Reds. It is Joe Rizzo leading things off. DeYoung, of course, the 2.93 ERA this year. We know all about it. That is out number 1. Jordan Adell up next. He's got a 1-2 count. He strikes out swinging. 2 down for Wyatt Cross. The 2-2 count. Ground ball. It is caught. That was a line drive, actually. And that is good for the 3rd and final out. Tampa Bay wins Game 3. And they are 1 game away from a World Series championship now. Up 3-0. We've never quite been in a position like this. And we have been cruising for the most part this series. This was really the only game that was in doubt, game number 1. Game 3 was close, but we controlled it for the most part. And the bullpen held on after Fido gave us another good start. Game 4, it's going to be the return of Brent Honeywell to the mound. He has not thrown since his dominant Game 4 performance in the championship series, as he tossed a complete game shutout then on 3 hits and had 10 Ks. Now he is facing Cincinnati. He also pitched well against this lineup in the regular season. Kind of want to go back and see how that series went for us. But, all right, a chance now to win our first World Series championship. Obviously, we have not won a World Series yet with this team in this series, and the Rays, as a matter of fact, have never won one as a result of that, because if and when we do win one, it will be the first, and it could be tonight that we do secure that first championship. But let's see. We've still got to get 27 more outs, and anything can happen. I've blown 3-0 leads in this game before, not in this year's game, but in previous games, so certainly not counting my eggs before they hatch, so to say. But same lineup we've been going with. Honeywell back out there. 2-0 and 2 starts for him so far. And now he is going to be opposed by Danny Salazar, the veteran, another one of those guys, the few guys who were around when this series started. He's 36 years old now and certainly a veteran on this Cincinnati team. And he has got it going so far. Tampa Bay scoreless through 3, as is Cincinnati. We got a couple runs across there in the 4th inning. Now Honeywell gives 1 back, but we still have a 2-1 lead. We got 2 more in the 5th, so a bit more of a cushion for Honeywell to work with, as he is pitching effectively once again here tonight, only at 69 pitches. He's given up 2 runs through 6. His spot does lead off the inning, and he's at 89 pitches. You know what? Just because I do want to get through the 7th if possible, I think Pint and DeYoung have been very effective, but other than that, there's no one I would really throw in there in the 7th and feel 100% about, so I think I am going to let Honeywell hit here and try to get him through the 7th. We did get another run there on a double from Bowers and then an RBI single from Wilfredo Coronel. So 5-2 now. Honeywell 9 Ks through 6 innings. He's got Joe Rizzo leading it off. That is going to be a ground out for out number 1. Now Jordan Adele up next, 1-2 count. That ball grounded back to the pitcher. Second straight ground out to the pitcher. 2 down. Wyatt Cross up next, 2-1 count. That's grounded to Devers at third in time. 3 up, 3 down for Cincinnati. Honeywell is through 7, and he might even be back out there for the 8th at this rate, the way he is going. Let's see if we get anything going this inning. Nope. His spot is due up next in the lineup. Let's get Pint up along with DeYoung. Both are rested and ready to go this game. Actually, we don't have to get DeYoung up yet, I mean. He didn't even pitch, I guess he did pitch yesterday. But either way, Honeywell back out there for the 8th, facing Gurriel. That is softly aligned into left center field for a base hit. So 1 on for Nick Allen. And I think I might let Honeywell face 1 or 2 more guys, possibly take him out when we get to Casas. That is going to be an infield hit, so now I'm definitely going to take him out because Nick Allen injured on the play. Is he? Yes, he's going to have to come out of the game. That's a blow for Cincinnati, but the tying run up at the plate now. So I'm going to go to Pint on for Honeywell, whose night is done after 7+ innings. He is responsible for the 2 men aboard for Cincinnati right now, and it's a 3-1 count to Nick Senzel coming up. He takes ball 4. Tying run is aboard, and the bases are loaded. Casas lines one at the shortstop. Unlucky for Tristan Casas. That could have been extra bases. Certainly 2 runs were scoring if that got by Correa, but instead there is 1 out in the inning now for Jared Kelenic. He flies 1 to left, pretty shallow. That is going to be caught. A runner not tagging. So the bases will remain loaded with 2 outs now for Junior Soto. And that ball gets away from the catcher. 1 run is going to score. It's 5-3 Tampa Bay now. Pint still has 2 strikes on the hitter Soto. And that is strike 3 swinging. So Pint gets his 12th strikeout of the postseason. And he gets through another scoreless, 1 run did come across. That will be charged to Honeywell though. As we're going to pinch hit for Pint with Ploman, or did we already use Ploman this game? We did not. So we will pinch hit. DeYoung warming up. Another 5-3 lead for him. 2nd straight night. He comes in with a 5-3 lead. Whoops-a-daisies. And here we go. 3 outs away from a world championship. He's got Kevin McCarthy leading things off. Pinch hitting for the pitcher here in the Cincinnati lineup. As it is 6, 7, 8 due up for Cincinnati. That is strike 3 swinging. 1 down. Tampa Bay now 2 outs away from their first World Series championship. Strike 3 looking. And the last chance for Cincinnati lies in the form of Wyatt Cross, the catcher at the dish now. He needs to find a way to get on base and continue this inning for Cincinnati. That ball hit to left field. Bauer's coming on, and the Tampa Bay Rays finally are world champions. After 10 long seasons at the helm of this organization, Tampa Bay has finally reached the top of the baseball world as World Series champions. We sweep the Cincinnati Reds out of the playoffs, and we are finally World Series champions. I don't believe it. I never thought it would come. I was told to rebuild many a times. I was told my window was closed after we had good seasons here, and then we fell off the last 2 years, but didn't matter. Wild card round, we've shown that we are capable of winning that. What's my record in the wild card now? Won this year, won last year, lost the year before that, so that's 2-1, 3-1. So I'm 3-1 in the wild card round, I believe now, and 4-1 if you go all the way back to 2013, Tampa Bay. But anyway, we've shown the prowess to do it, and we did it, and we finally finished it off. We've won series in the past. We've come very close to winning series in the past. We've had a lot of heartbreaking losses, certainly some bad luck, and maybe we got a little bit of good luck in the games that we did win, although we won the series pretty handily. You can add that now. So we only lost one game this postseason, one World Series over Cincinnati, 4-0. So we went 12-1 in the postseason if you include the wild card round. That's pretty impressive. Is that even right? That seems almost impossible, but it is right. The only game we lost was that first game to Cleveland, and we were the only team to beat Cincinnati. That was like the Rockies in 2007 when they had been on that long winning streak coming into the World Series, and then just got swept right out of it by Boston. But there you have it. Finally get to see this screen. The midseason move to Dave Roberts. How about that? A weird year. We fired our manager in the middle of the year, Pedro Peralta, after, I had really given Peralta a lot of leeway. I had a lot of faith in him coming over, but we just hadn't gotten it done in the playoffs under him, and I saw Roberts was available. I made the switch. We went 50-33 under him the rest of the way after he got hired. We finished 17 games over 500, so we were 3 games under when he got hired. And we played 600 baseball in the second half of the season, thanks in large part to his hire. And you see there, we just righted the ship. That's what it took. And he is a World Series champion for the 4th time in his managerial career. So pretty cool stuff. As he beat us in the 2019 World Series. But either way, he is a world champion once again. And who was the other coach? Did we fire our hitting coach, I think, in the middle of the year too? Or was it our pitching coach? I don't even remember. I think it was our hitting coach. Let's see the front office personnel. And I think it was the hitting coach. We hired Kevin Long in the middle of the year. And we were 56-50 after he came aboard. So even it definitely seems like it wasn't the hitting coach that was the big difference. It certainly seemed like the managerial switch was what sort of ignited our run. And we just played great ball in the second half, and it all came together finally. That's what I mean, man. Even if it's just that second wild card spot, if it all comes together at the right time, like anything is possible. I mean, we went 12-1 in the postseason. We didn't just win the World Series. We kind of whooped the entire league. Like, the teams weren't really close in those series to beating us. We had some close games, but some games and a lot of those series, we just pretty much whooped the competition. So pretty cool stuff. Finally, we're the World Series champions. I'm going to continue this series. I want to defend my title, see maybe how long I can keep going with this group. A lot of people have certainly said this group is on its last legs, especially with the pitching staff. Guys like Snell, who's now 33, Fido's 30, Honeywell's 32. Those 3 guys have been around for a while. And our core position players, other than Coronel, who is right in the middle of his prime, and maybe he will help kind of extend this window for us. Because he's obviously our best player now, probably going to win the MVP after throwing up a 10-win year and taking us to the World Series. Although he wasn't great in the postseason, did have big games in the final 2, made his whole postseason numbers look a lot better than they really were. But can't complain, cannot complain when we just won the World Series. But yeah, maybe he will help extend our window. Bowers is in his 30s, Correa is 32, Devers is 30, Robles is 29. It's actually younger than I thought. So not a ton of young position players. We have a couple young guys, Mendez, Donnelly. Maybe we can build around a little bit, but who knows? Who knows? That is the exciting part. We will continue to see what this game has in store for this team, what lies ahead. for this group. So that is going to do it. Hope you guys enjoy. And congratulations, Tampa Bay. You are finally World Series champions. Thanks for watching. Hope you did enjoy. And as always, I'm out. Peace.